And welcome to the Howard Eskin Show, here live on this Saturday morning, but available forever and ever and ever. And you saw we listed special guest Tony Bruno. Well, I don't know if he's special, but he is a guest. And Tony will join us shortly. But let me first thank our presenting sponsor. The show, the Howard Eskin Show, is presented by Stillwell Financial Advisors. Jeff Stillwell is a genius among geniuses when it comes to handling your wealth. Person that really knows his stuff. I've mentioned to you more than a few times. I've spoken to him. I've learned a lot. Got great knowledge. Not only will you learn, but he will do a terrific job if you want to do anything with your wealth and invest. Regular guy, good guy. You'll get to know him. You'll be impressed. Here's his number 732-343-0813, Stillwell Financial Advisors. Now, also, I want to thank our other fine sponsors, Piazza. They're partners. They're partners in this fine show. Piazza Property Pros, Audi of Westchester, and Cut the Cord with Jason. We got all three of those sponsors. I'll tell you about Piazza Property Pros, but before I get to that, let me just tell you, we're going to have Tony Bruno, and then after Tony, if he hasn't just blown up the world on this show, we will talk about a couple issues, more than a couple issues that I have with the Phillies and extended in the Phillies situation. The NBA, it's like too many blowouts, but we'll get into that. The Sixers, who are a farce, we'll get into all that. But let me tell you about our fine partners. And that, first of all, would be Piazza Property Pros, transforming your grounds with a new in-ground pool. They are experts at doing that. Pool renovation, they are experts at doing that. Piazza Property Pros actually stopped out to see the group of fine people at Piazza Property Pros the other day. 25 years of experience. They know what they're doing. They can turn your vision into a reality. And I tell you this all the time. They do not subcontract. It's their people. Excavation, hardscaping, fencing, landscaping, pool maintenance. You can trust Piazza Property Pros. Exceptional results, and they can do it within your budget. Here's the number. You see it up there, 610. If you don't see it, I'm going to read it to you. 610-566-2608, or check them out at Piazza Outdoor, piazzaoutdoor.com. They'll do a great job for you. Also, if you are looking for a vehicle, and I know a lot of people at one time or another are looking for a vehicle, experience luxury at Audi Westchester. Their all new facility, state-of-the-art equipment, wonderful place. It's fun. The people are great. People are really fun to talk to. And their goal is to make buying or leasing a new Audi as simple as possible. Pressure-free sales environment. And here's another good thing. Since Audi, a lot of good things. Since Audi Westchester is part of the Mainline Automotive Group, you will have access to the largest selection of new and pre-owned Audi vehicles in the tri-state area. Whole bunch of cars now coming in, no tariffs. I've got one coming in within the next week. Hopefully it'll be a can't wait. You too can get whatever, whether it's new or pre-owned. Stop by Audi of Westchester, located at 1421 Wilmington Pike, or check them out, AudiWestchester.com. That's AudiWestchester.com. And everybody wants to save money. You want to save a lot of money? Cut the cord. Cable gets more expensive every month. It's almost to the point like I can't take it anymore. Well, you can cut the cord with Jason. Jason offers an incredible service. He'll save you money. He'll come out to your house, cut the cable off, set you up with less expensive internet service with streaming services that include local and national channels. So you'll get the same stuff. You'll still get to see all the Philly pro games. And let's just say you have a second home. Yep, Jason can set that up. And it's one monthly bill. It's the same charge for both. One monthly bill for both houses. For more information and to save yourself a lot of money, people want to do that, call Jason. You can call him today, 215-801-5858. That's 215-801-5858. And also today, we're going to give something away. As we've done in shows, we're going to give you a pair of Oakley sunglasses, but you got to work a little bit for it. We'll have a question. Somewhere. I'll have a question somewhere with our conversation with Tony Bruno. Listen to my conversation. At the end of the show, I'll ask a question about something Tony said or did, because he could do anything. Email your answer on the contact page to howardeskin.com, and the winner will be chosen from all the correct entries. Emails must be received by this Tuesday at 12 a.m. The winner of the Oakley sunglasses will be announced on the Howard Eskin Show on Wednesday at 7:30. We have a winner from the last show, and the winner he listened. I asked the question, excluding Tom Brady and Joe Montana, who did Joey Merlino think was the best quarterback in the NFL in the last 30 years? He said Dan Marino. And Frank Barada, you are the proud owner, and you will get your glasses shortly of a new pair of Oakley sunglasses, courtesy of the Howard Eskin Show. All right, now let's get to the real meat of the show, and he is a meathead. We are going back to back with mob heads. We had one mob guy on last time, and now we're going to have another mob guy on his own mob, and that would be Tony Bruno. Tony,
good morning. Good morning, and thank you for joining me. Yes, I am now the king, the capo de tutu capi here down in Southwest Florida. And, Joey, you talk about mob people. When we were at WFIL together back in the early 70s.
Yep.
Larry King, the Action News anchorman guy.
Larry King.
Yeah, not Larry King. Hello. Well, Larry Kane thought that Angelo Bruno, who at the time was the head of the local mafia, who was found shot dead in front of his house on Snyder Avenue, he thought that he was my uncle. So he wanted me to get him an exclusive interview. And I kept telling Larry, I said, he's not related to me. If I was related to Angelo Bruno, the crime guy, why would I be working overnights at WFIL for 7 years before I saw the light of day? So, and Joey Merlino, I haven't been to his new joint, but I want to go down there because I got to tell you, those guys do an amazing job. The guy who makes the sandwiches, he was making like a chicken cheesesteak yesterday. Their marketing is incredible. Everybody thinks he's just another Stu Nod from Philly. I'm a Stu Nod from Philly, but I'm not a crumb bum from Philly, Howard. And by the way, you can get my crumb bum shirts on the TonyBrunoShow.com website. So a lot of good Philly stuff on there, Howard.
I'll bet there is. All right. So I asked Joey, and I'll ask you because you are from South Philly originally. Yeah. Who is South Philadelphia? Between the two, who is South Philadelphia's favorite son? Joey Merlino or Frank Rizzo? And, for people that don't remember Frank Rizzo, he was the police commissioner who became the mayor, and he called out the crumb bum comes from. He called out a Channel 3 reporter one time,
right,
when they tried to get down to the bottom of something. And Frank, whatever, I'm not going to get into Frank, but who is, in your opinion, as a South Philly guy, the South Philadelphia's favorite son between those two?
Oh, it's got to be Frank Rizzo. Listen, Joey Merlino, he was part of the younger mob, basically the last gasp.
Alleged. He says alleged. He says they were just trying to sell. And he used the word, I'm not going to use it. I added a hall pass the other night so I could say the F word, but I won't. I won't use it like he over 60 times he used it, but that's all right. But he said he's the South Philly's favorite son.
Well, he was, but that was the gang that couldn't shoot straight in his era. The bottom line is this: Frank Rizzo was he was a police commissioner. He was the mayor. I mean, he was bigger than life. He used to have his own show on Sunday mornings on Channel 6 when people would call in and say, Mr. Mayor, my light at 13th and Snyder's out. Can you do it? And then he said, yeah, Margaret, I'll have somebody out there by after this afternoon. So that's the old school way when politicians, and a lot of them still bullshit, but when Frank Rizzo would talk to people and he would get stuff done. So with all due respect to Joey Merlino, who's doing a good job with the cheesesteak business, he's no Frank Rizzo. Come on, Joey. And by the way, I'm going to have to go down there the next time I'm in town and check that joint out because it looks like they're doing a good job.
Well, I got to go down there. I got to go down there too. But and it just, at least he's put some Cooper Sharp. As an Italian, do you like Cooper Sharp on your cheesesteaks?
All right, Cooper Rush, and I mean there's a lot of Coopers out there,
Okay, all right,
Cooper
all right,
Rush.
all right. So we go
Riley Cooper. Oh no, he's not around anymore, is he?
Well, he's building a home in the area.
Oh, is he really?
Yes, he is. He's got a home in California, and he's building a home in the area. He pops in periodically. He goes to a bunch of Eagles games, but he pops in.
And by the way, can your Piazza pool guys come down and build my pool now that my house is almost finished? And I'm going to need a pool, Howard. And the good thing down here is when you get a pool in Southwest Florida, you can use it all year long.
All year round.
Yeah, you don't have to put the cover on it after Labor Day weekend. You know what I mean? The pools go 365 days a year down here.
Well, I will talk to them. That would have to be a special event for them to travel to Florida to do a pool. But
and don't forget Cooper DeJean, Boom Bap 75 on the live stream drops a Cooper DeJean reference. How can you forget about the young, exciting whites on the Philadelphia Eagles, Howard?
Who dropped a Cooper DeJean reference? You did.
One of the people in the street. No, Boom Bap 75, who's listening, and he's on the live.
Oh, okay. Okay. So where does a Cooper DeJean comes from with what we're doing here? All right.
You said Cooper Sharp, so we're doing a Cooper thing. Riley Cooper DeJean.
Right.
Cooper Pop.
Where
Cooper
am I?
was a popular name, I guess, 20-something years ago,
Yeah, I guess, 20's probably, Cooper Rush is older than that. Cooper Rush is in his 30s.
Bradley Cooper, but that's his last name. That doesn't count.
That's his last name. Yeah, okay. But he's still
cheesesteaks, Howard. Cheesesteaks. Bradley Cooper's down there at what's the name of the joint that everybody goes to now in South Philly?
Angelo's
Pizzeria. And then you got Joey Merlino. We should have a cheesesteak battle where the winners go out into the street and then just do a duel right on like Passyunk Avenue.
Well, you know what?
Be 10 paces back, and then the first one that shoots wins. But there won't be any real bullet spews in this one because we don't like violence in Philadelphia, and that's why Larry Krasner must be defeated in the upcoming election as district attorney.
Well, now we're getting into politics, but I will tell you
that's common sense, Howard. I don't know.
You're right. You're absolutely.
He's got to go, Howard. You got power in Philly. I don't live there anymore. I still have a house there.
I do.
My family's all there. But if you don't think Larry Krasner's got to go,
it's a disgrace.
You're not a real Philly guy, Howard.
I agree. He's a disgrace. By the way, Danny, who's the owner of Angelo's Pizza, opened up. Did you know he opened up a cheesesteak place with Bradley Cooper in New York? Did you know that?
I did not know that. No.
See that? So you learn something on the Howard Eskin Show all the time. So he opened it up with Bradley because Bradley Cooper used to come in there all the time to get his cheesesteaks. So they got to know each other. And, Bradley Cooper opened up a place in New York and Danny's part of it. All right. So now let's get to, we're going to get to the Phillies and the stuff going on here because I know you have opinion, but there's one thing, and we're both.
It's not my style to rip, Howard. So if you expect me to come on here and just rip people, that's not what I do. I should have a shirt that says it's not my style to rip, but ... You know what I'm saying?
But criticize is another word. So rip is harsh. Okay. All right. So here's what we are: two people that spent many years in the radio business. That's where they use the term. I don't know if they use it anymore.
How about decades?
Yeah, decades.
We have more decades than people have years.
Well, that's right. Between the both of us in the radio business, cut our teeth, if they still use that term, whatever. It was a great part of my history. It was a great part of your history, and it helped us become the success that we both are. But what has happened? What has happened to that business? It's almost like it's a disaster area anymore. What the hell has happened to radio? I mean, it's dying. In your opinion, what's happened to radio?
Well, video killed the radio star, but the internet killed the radio star too. And that was the original MTV thing. Remember, video killed the radio star.
Hmm.
First song ever played, I believe, on MTV back in the day. If you're old enough to remember that, and if you are, good morning. You're old. You get up early like we all do now. I get up early every day now, Howard. It's a fact. When you hit 70, you get up at 6 o'clock every morning, even if you don't have to. You get up. I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor. But Howard will have a doctor on next week to break it down. So anyway,
I am a doctor, Tony. I got a doctorate. Come on.
Right. That's it. What's the college again now? The university.
Goldie Beacom College in Wilmington, Delaware. And there's so many good things. First of all, let me just tell you, I learned about them. They learned about me. Their tuitions are under $15,000 a year. And now think about that. Where Villanova's over 80, Penn's over 80, Syracuse is probably there now at 80. I mean, it's a joke. It's just, but
it is. I've said it.
They're really good people.
I used to say it 25 years ago. Welding, go to Penco Tech, go to Airco Tech, learn a trade. Don't become a musical theater major at Temple. Don't stop taking all these stupid college courses that get you nothing. You can't even go flip cheesesteaks or burgers with most of the college degrees these kids are putting themselves in debt getting. And I know because I have 3 kids. You have kids. The bottom line is this: learn a trade. You can make $70,000 a year welding, and there's nothing wrong with being a welder. I'd love to be a welder. I like using my hands. You got to do a lot of things. You got to be diversified.
Well, so now I explained to you a doctor, and you went into this long explanation. But
I was a doctor. Come on, Dr. Vinny Boombas, Dr. Jill Biden.
So your big thing, the reason radio is dying is the internet.
It's the internet.
Yeah.
The internet, as I said, used to be AM radio when we were there, WFIL. They were the dominant station. Everybody listened to AM back then. FM, for classical music and old people. Then all of a sudden, FM became the hip thing. That hurt AM radio. And now the internet, because anybody can have a podcast out. And you and I know, young people still come up to me and you and they say, "Hey, Howard, how do I get into radio?" And it pains me to say this. I don't recommend young people going to college. Now, you can get a degree in journalism, or political science like I had. Or something that you can get a job doing. But nowadays, radio, unfortunately, you don't need to go to radio school. You don't need to become a professional broadcaster. All you need to do is come up with an idea. Look at all these websites. Look at all these people, just guys sitting around thinking of ideas. Barstool, Dave Portnoy came up with a great idea. Howard Stern was dominant when he was talking to the regular man out there, the hardworking guys driving to work every day. And then, Barstool did the same thing. They got it down to the middle class and upper class guys who work hard for a living. They related to those guys. But now, radio stations, this. You work for a radio station that has rights to certain teams. You can't say anything. Forget about ripping them. You can't even give a mild criticism without being, and that happened to me at 97.5 when I was ripping the 76ers and I was there during the process era. I would rip the process and I would get talked to by who was a slick guy from New York that came down and was one of the 76ers guys when Hinkie was there. He was a guy from New York City, worked for the Rangers, worked for Madison Square Garden. He was
Scott O'Neill.
Yeah, Scott O'Neill. He would call me and say, "Hey, man, cool it with the ripping of the process, man. We're trying to do something here." I said, "Yeah, what you're trying to do is put a Ponzi scheme on these people, charge them real money to go watch G League guys."
Hey, they're still doing it.
Players were better, and they're doing it again.
They're still doing it. Okay, so now we're going to get you. Led me right into it because there's
that's what I do, Howard. I can bring it. I go away a little bit, but then I bring it all right back.
Okay, Billy Bob Joe here on the chat. That's the name he's using. Billy Bob Joe. He says, "Stop wasting time. Bury Daryl Morey." You know what?
I'll bury Daryl Morey. I'll be the first guy with the first shovel. I'll get out there and I'll go down to South Philly in front of the Wells Fargo, whatever the hell they're calling it now, the
Xfinity Mobile Center. That'll be in September.
Xfinity Mobile Center, whatever it is, Comcast.
Okay.
I'll go up to the top of the Comcast towers and scream to the high heavens, just like I did when the Philadelphia Eagles and the creep from France Remember him, the owner of the Eagles, when we did the rally down in Center City to rip the owners of the Philadelphia Eagles, Norman Brayman, when they let Reggie White just walk out of here. So you hold the people accountable. And that's what the media is supposed to, especially sports fans. Sports fans cry every day. Now, now all of a sudden, the Phillies fans are down on Bryce Harper. Oh, Bryce Harper, he's not the face of the franchise anymore. So that's what Philly fans do. And there's 162 games. The bottom line is every game, there's something good and something bad. And now Bryce Harper sucks. Phillies get shut out. Aaron Nola's 1-6, gives up home runs all the time. And then they'll win a couple of games and they'll go crazy again. But the bottom line is how Daryl Morey makes Sam Hinkie look like a genius. A genius. Makes him look like Pat Riley when Pat Riley was still good and knew what he was doing. Except now where Pat Riley, they want to run him out of Miami and bury him somewhere on the Florida Keys where no one will find him.
Well, Daryl Morey, it might be, first of all, he's a fraud. He might be the biggest con man I've ever seen. His tap dance about, he was happy, wasn't happy. He was okay. He traded a number 1 pick with Al Horford, which now Oklahoma City owns, which now could be a great pick. Either way, either this year or next year, Oklahoma City gets that pick. He could have had Tyrese Halliburton, and he denies it. And I know for a 100% fact from the Sacramento ownership.
Was this a stone cold fact, Howard?
Stone cold fact. Hey, that's my trademark. Stone Cold Mortal Lock is my trademark, and I have it trademarked in the federal building.
Well, because you stole it from me. I was using that back in the day. Stone Cold Lead Pipe Mortal Lock.
Yeah, I didn't throw the lead pipe in there.
I may have to get my lawyers to sue you for copyright infringement.
It's too late. I already have it in the federal building, which is, by the way, located in Arlington, Virginia. But whatever. He is such a fraud. But a stone cold fact, he could have had Tyrese Halliburton, who's a stud, instead when they traded Ben Simmons, but he wanted James Harden, which I'm going to do something with James Harden. He just true to form, James Harden, in the playoffs. But we'll get to that later. But the reality
nothing was better, Howard. Nothing was better in the recent playoffs than Ben Simmons and the guy you were just talking about,
James Harden,
both crashing and burning in the playoffs. Both guys, former 76ers. I mean, why did people keep signing Ben Simmons? That's what I want to know.
Well, because now he's cheap. Now he's cheap and he's athletic, and you hope somewhere along the way he might turn. Guys like that, the NBA has too many teams. There's too many bad players. That's another problem. But how can anybody, Sixers ownership, see, the owner only cares about the football team now. So Daryl Morey runs the team, and I'll take care of it. He just fired his senior director of communications to save money. Yet he's paying Joel Embiid and Paul George combined $115 million a year. And this last season, they played a total together of 60 games. But that's another story. Doesn't know what he's doing with players. He's never made any good deals. When he could have gotten Halliburton, he would have given up one less number 1 pick. The whole thing is a farce. This guy is a stone cold fraud. And anybody that thinks the Sixers can win with this guy it's a joke. The Sixers, and I tell people this, Tony, and I've mentioned it before, I'll tell you this. Sixers are 3 to 4 years away from being 3 to 4 years away from being 3 to 4 years away from being 3 to 4 years away. That's where they are.
I remember when we were both saying this on the radio. Land the damn plane. Remember?
Wait a minute. I asked that question to Hinkie. When are you going to land the plane?
Land the damn plane.
I think it's going to YouTube.
Sam Hinkie is still body surfing somewhere in California. And Daryl Morey, who's supposed to be this genius, the guy's the worst administrator in Philadelphia right now. Is there a worse guy running an organization? And you're right about the Sixers owner. He's getting that $4 billion stadium built back in D.C. He doesn't care, and then the whole thing with the stadium and the all down on Market Street and all that crap that everybody knew wasn't going to work. So now he'll just go to the next thing. He give him credit, though. The Sixers owner, he spends money, but he spends bad money, too. I mean, the Sixers was a toy for him.
They spend the cap. They spend up to the cap. That's all they do. They spend up to the cap, which they have to do anyway. Yeah. Right. But he's got 2 players making $115 million. And then you got Tyrese Halliburton. He's the best guy on the team. And then Daryl Morey when somebody asked him a question about the health of Paul George and Joel Embiid, well, we expect him to be the 100% to start the season. If Joel Embiid is 100% the rest of his life, I would be shocked. Forget about the start of the season. And I don't think he was honest about the procedure or surgery that he had. He needed more than just a procedure. So if that's the case, then he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. But they're trying to get people, because the season ticket holders are bailing out by the thousands. They're trying to get him to stay. Oh, yeah, they're not going to raise ticket prices. Well, we'll see about that, too. It's just the whole thing's.
I feel bad. Listen, I don't like to rip and beat. I think the guy cares, but now he's married. He's set for life.
He doesn't care, Tony. He got his money.
They're talking about trading him to the Lakers because it's all about saving the stinking Lakers.
No chance of a trade.
Because LeBron's a bum. We know that. LeBron is a bum, is he not?
Yeah, he's done. He's done. He'll come back another year because he wants the attention. But the Sixers can't trade Joel Embiid. He's got I think his new extension starts next year, but at least he's got at least 3 years left at $62.5 million a year. There's no way they can trade him. And he's hurt all the time. If he plays more than 50 games a year, I would be shocked in any season in the future. I mean, it's a joke. The Sixers, all right. So we know that we both agree that Daryl Morey is a disgrace and the Sixers are going nowhere. All right. So now what pisses you off these days, Tony, about sports? Let's deal with sports. What pisses you off?
Howard, I'm at the age now where, you and I are both we're pretty much exactly the same age. So we grew up in the same era. And again, I don't want to be one of these bitter old men yelling at young people and yelling at clouds and all this other crap that people talk about. I'm happy, man. I just want to enjoy life every day because we all know we don't know where we're going to go. We don't know how we're going to go. But the bottom line is you got to enjoy life. I don't football season is the most important because every loss, it's the end of the world for people. And that's what's great about football. You got now they're going to be 18 games. It's a week by week league. You got baseball, the NBA, too many games, and now it's a day by day. Nobody has 162 days to bitch. I mean, there's 365. That's more than half the year of just bitching about every stinking baseball game. I don't have that energy anymore, Howard.
Yeah, but you got to. I mean, in Philadelphia, you have to. You have to complain. I mean, that's what it is.
You come out of the womb complaining.
Well, here's the problem. All right. Well, here's something I know it'll piss you off. Shedeur Sanders, how big a disgrace was that? And we're asking your opinion.
Listen, I don't know. I know Dion. I've known him well, just like Michael Irvin. A lot of those Cowboy guys and former great players. We know them. We've interviewed all these athletes. So I like Dion personally. What he did at Colorado was amazing. But the bottom line is this. When you pimp your kids, like LeBron pimped his son, and his son stinks. He forced the team to take his son in, and Bronny is. Well,
he got JJ Redick the job because JJ told him he'd get it. Yeah, I mean it's
and so the other thing is, LeBron's a fraud. He's a fraud. So he's not.
He is. LaFraud James is what I call him.
How about this thing? How about Shedeur Sanders? Actually, the Pope was elected in 2 days. Shedeur Sanders didn't go until the third day. So that just tells you the difference between Shedeur Sanders. I mean, there's all these Pope jokes going around, right? Is he a Chicago beef guy or is he a Villanova main line guy? That's what people are arguing now. But at least that's fun.
Oh, there's going to be a food fight. There's going to be a food fight over the Pope. Because he said
Here you go. You got to get Joey Merlino back on. Joey, the new Pope, Leo. Not Leo the Lip, not Leo from Seinfeld. How about the Pope? Is he a Chicago beef guy or is he a Philadelphia mainline cheesesteak guy with Cooper?
Well, wait a minute. The Pope already said somewhere along the way that he loves Chicago pizza. That's a different pizza than Philadelphia.
Yeah, I know. Everything's different. Yeah.
I mean, it's a different pizza. So, and Villanova's really not Philadelphia. Villanova's not in Philadelphia. But so they're going to fight over where he's from and and it's a shame because it's such a sacred, obviously,
Wait a minute, Howard.
field.
The Villanova's not is Delco Philadelphia?
No,
No, but people from Delco, they say Delco because they're proud of where they're
Philadelphia
from.
area, but
Yeah, but
Philadelphia.
that's it's like saying somebody from right across the bridge in New Jersey in Palmyra. They'd say that they don't tell people they're from Palmyra, New Jersey.
Okay,
if they're
but
going around, they say they're Philly people.
But he grew up in Chicago. As the headline in the Chicago paper is "The Pope."
The Pope, yeah. No, it's funny stuff. You have to admit, at least the sports memes the last few days on Twitter are hilarious. All Pope stuff,
Yeah.
No, I haven't known. Does the Pope smoke dope? That's one of the lines.
No.
Does the Pope poop? Does the Pope poop in the woods? These are the kinds of questions I want answers to, Howard, and I believe you too need to step up and get this stuff done.
That's too sacrilegious. I'm not going to do that.
You're not even Catholic, Howard.
No, I know, but Jews and Catholics are kind of the same. We're kind of the same.
Exactly.
By
the way, Shabbat Shalom. Oh, that was last night. I'm sorry, I got it wrong.
Right. Yeah, it's it's Saturday, Friday night to Saturday night. All right, so now we got Shedeur Sanders, and we got the Pope involved in discussion about Shedeur Sanders. You kind of defended Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's now hitting under 230.
Where did I defend him? I said the fans are turning on him already now. Well, I didn't defend him.
Well, okay, I'm not sure. Well, Bryce Harper's not the same player he used to be. That doesn't mean he's not a good player, because I think he's a great player. Well, I don't know if he's as great as he was. Yeah.
No, of course not. Nobody is except you and me. But that's because we've got the wisdom. People always say you're getting older. No, you know what's good about getting older, Howard? You have unlike computers or cell phones where you have to upgrade the RAM and all that stuff. What's in here never goes away. And the sad part with people like me, what's in here that should go away doesn't go away. Like I can remember stuff from when I was a kid. You can remember stuff, and you're in your 70s. When you're in your 70s, you're not supposed to remember that stuff. That's because the human brain has more capacity than the biggest supercomputer. So the problem is you can't get rid of, you can't defrag your brain. You know what I mean? You can't get rid of useless files. You can't get rid of useless files. All the useless files stay in there. And that's what makes us, as we get older, more learned, more respected, because we got all those useless files up there, including the important files, which nobody really cares about anymore. You just get rid of the files, you delete them, and then you move on, and you make sure none of the phone numbers are on your files or any of the chicks that you bang or any of that stuff. You got to clear all that stuff out.
Okay, well, we got a comment here from Boom Bap 75. Bryce is like Teflon. He panders to the fans with his goofy fanatic getup. You know what? He does pander to the fans. Do you think?
Yeah, and that's why they love him.
Yeah, but do you think he does too much of it? Hey, listen.
No,
Bryce Harper's Bryce Harper.
Yeah, but he realizes how much the Philly fans, suck up. They want to see their star players look like they care. And I think Bryce Harper cares until he goes back to Vegas in the offseason, But the bottom line is, I think the fans see that he reacts to them. He respects them. They respect him. The Phillies obviously have him here for the rest of his career. I don't think they're going to dump him, in a couple of years if he's not playing. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I know that contract, but the bottom line, his contract, now all of a sudden looks like a pittance compared to what these other guys are getting. So that's what happens. He does play hard. There's no doubt about it. The guy plays hard. And the weight of this team, because of the last couple of postseason failures, everybody's now just waiting for October. Nobody seems to know. All they want to know is, will the Phillies have a good enough bullpen? Will their starting pitching when it gets to the playoffs again? Because there's a lot of good hitting teams now. You look at the scores every night in baseball, 13-11. Every night there's double-digit games all over baseball now. You didn't see that before. That's because the starting pitchers don't go long enough, and the relief pitchers, the long guys, aren't any good. They're guys who can't start and can't close. And so baseball now has just become an absolute – it's like back in the old day when the American League games would be 13-11. Look at the scores every night. There's multiple teams that are dropping 13, 14, 15 runs a night. Is that baseball?
And the Phillies get shut out the next night. It's just I don't like their lineup. I don't like their bullpen. But, hey, Tony, I'm going to open this up. If people want to talk to you, I'm sure you would welcome that. A,
No, I'm not good with the public. That's why I never did remotes. I never went out and kissed babe. No, I love talking to the people. The people is who made us.
okay. All right. So
The
now
people made us, Howard.
I'm going to ask my producer, Joe. Joe, put out the link for people to join the stream. And if anybody wants to join and they have a question for me or Tony Bruno, you can't have enough mob guys on the show, one right after another. If anybody has any questions, you can call into the show. We'll put out the link to get in on the stream. And Joe, just tell me if you put it out on more than just Twitter. We'll let people know. But all right, so now the Phillies, and I've said this, I think they're good, but they're not good enough to get to the World Series. Agree or disagree?
Probably not, because you know why? Because the National League is loaded. I mean, the Atlanta Braves are still they suck, but they're still hanging in there.
Yeah.
It's not about what you're doing in April and May. Schwarber right now, Schwarber is probably the most influential player on the Phillies because they can move him up and down the lineup. And the guy just rakes. The guy is absolutely a stud. And then they're going to have to pay him, Howard. You can't let Kyle Schwarber walk because this guy is liable to blow a game open at any time. And the same thing with Castellanos. A couple of years ago, people wanted him gone. And now this guy is steady. So they've got guys, the Alec Boehms and these guys who are up and down. Fans are always going to turn on them. But as far as Bryce Harper, he's fine. And the Phillies are going to be all right. It's just a long season. That's what I said earlier in the show. You can't cry every night when they lose and then get excited when they start winning in minor league ballparks. You got that Tampa park down there. It was all Phillies fans down here, Howard. That's why you got to come down here and do shows. When my house is finished, I'm going to start doing shows because I'm telling you right now, there's no other place I've been in America that has more Philly fans than here in Southwest Florida, from the Tampa area all the way down to Miami. It is loaded. There are more Phillies fans in Tampa than there are Tampa Bay Rays fans, and they only have a 10,000-seat George Steinbrenner minor league ballpark for the Yankees. And it's all Phillies fans.
Well, that's where the Phillies hit. They hit in minor league ballparks.
They don't play in the A's park. The A's park, they haven't been there yet.
Well, the A's are playing in Sacramento for a few days.
Yeah, I know, but that's why they don't call them Sacramento A's. You notice it's just the Athletics now. They don't even want to mention Sacramento when they talk about the A's. Because nobody wants to go to Sacramento. And listen, I love Sacramento and the people there, but they're playing in a minor league ballpark in Sacramento, California. Even the Sacramento Kings.
Well, because they're out of Oakland. Because the stadium won't keep them and won't extend their lease, and they're going to go to where they're going to go. They're going to go to Las Vegas. Las Vegas. So it's just. But baseball, all the seasons are too long.
Yeah. But now the NFL is going to go 18 games.
Oh, yeah. There's no question.
Season games.
There's no question. There's no question with the NFL's. By the way, Tony, this is going to come up. The owner, and I was going to mention it later in the show, but I'll mention it now. The league meetings, the owners' meetings are in March in Florida. They alternate between Arizona and Florida. Okay. The league meetings, I don't know where they are, but they're coming up sometime towards the end of this month. There's one rule that hasn't been either kept or shut down: the tush push. The tush push is, from what I'm hearing, is likely to be shut down. That's an outrage. That's an outrage.
We're not going to shut it down. It's the stinking Green Bay Packers crying, right? Because they can't do it. Because they can't do it. A lot of teams that try it can do it, but the Eagles do it best. And it used to be they had Jason Kelce. Now they don't have Jason Kelce. They just learn how to do it, and the rest of the league is pissed off. So
I'm going to tell you, their center now is bigger than Jason Kelce. Cam Jerkins is bigger than Jason
Kelce. But still, there's a skill involved in doing it. And all these other teams who are too chicken shit to try it, and then when they try it, they don't make it, they complain and they start crying, like the Packers. The Packers are the ones who are bitching about it. The Rams were bitching about it. So that's what happens when you can't do it because you're worried that your quarterback – see, as much as I like the Rams quarterback, he's not a guy that's going to do that. But here's the best part. The Buffalo Bills and Sean McDermott, local guy, he doesn't like it. His quarterback does the tush push more than he doesn't even need a tush push. He's so big and strong. He always takes the ball in 4th and short. But he always takes the ball at the goal line, right? So should that be illegal?
Tony, I don't care one way or the other. So I don't care whether they keep it or let it go. If you're a football team, you're a football team. But
exactly.
there used to be a rule which they eliminated where a player with the football couldn't be pushed from behind or pulled. Now, you still can't pull a player forward if you're in front of him. But there used to be a rule, and they eliminated where you can't push a player who has the football. So that rule did exist, but it doesn't exist anymore. So do you want it, or don't you care, or does it matter to you?
I think that if you're doing something legal, and it is legal in the books, I agree about the pulling across the goal line stuff. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But when pushing is forward momentum. What do you think offensive linemen are trying to do? They're trying to keep those defensive linemen going backwards, not forwards. So they're pushing them backwards. That's why it's in the trenches, Howard. You know this. You've been in the trenches, and with a trench coat and a fur coat. By the way, trench coat or fur coat, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, have you gotten rid of your fur coats, or you still have them in the over there across the bridge?
It's Zinman, but I don't do stuff with that.
Yeah, you have the Zinman's vault. You have all your fur coats in the vault as the weather starts to warm up.
I don't. But wait a minute. But it's not cold. It's not as cold anymore. It's not as cold anymore. So there's very limited time when I can wear the fur coats. But people want to see them. Let's not digress here. So, which you do. That's an outrage. The way you digress. It's an outrage. All right. So
I used to do Zinman first commercials back in the day.
We all did. I was on a billboard with Javon Curse. It's just it's crazy, to think about the things we both did in the past. All right. So now we've dealt with the Phillies. We killed the Sixers, which they should be killed. If they moved, I wouldn't even care, because then we'll get it. If you get an expansion team, the expansion team would be better than the Sixers team. That's clear.
The Flyers are starting, and then the Flyers have to reboot again, and now Rick Tockett's available, and they'll probably bring Rick Tocchet back.
I hope they do. I hope they bring Tocchet back.
Yeah, but you're right about this. I think of all the Philadelphia sports teams, the 76ers are the one that has the farthest to go to try to reboot and build confidence back.
Terrible.
Even though they got their 3 stars, right? Their 3 big names. Are you confident that team's going to be able to make a playoff run next year or in the next couple of years?
They got big names, but Joel Embiid is not a star. He really didn't win the MVP, although he was voted as the MVP. It was Jokic. I would have Jokic.
Maxi's legit. Maxi is legit. We can all agree with
Maxi, and he's the best player on the team. Paul George averages about 50 games a year, except for 1 year in the last 6, because he was playing for a contract. So he doesn't want to play. Joel Embiid got his money, so he doesn't want to play. And he can't because he's physically not able. Doesn't listen to the coach. Doesn't play for his teammates. So you can have Joel Embiid. You can take him and whatever. It doesn't even matter. But so we're by the Sixers. Do the Eagles get to a Super Bowl this year?
It always comes down to the same thing: health. Can they keep the main guys healthy? And they did last year. They kept the team healthy. They had a couple of blips here and there, but when guys went down, other guys stood up. So I think their offensive line is still the best in football. They keep bringing in guys in the draft. They keep signing those free agents like Mekhi Becton, who comes in hungry. So there are a lot of guys out there. The reason why the Eagles will continue to play well, they got a good organization. They know how to draft, and they know how to fleece teams out of picks. But the good thing about the Eagles is guys who are hungry for a Super Bowl are going to want to play here and take less money. Look at what happened with their tight end. He could have gone. He took a pay cut to stay here. So the people who want to play here, that's what happens. Well, it used to be that way with the Lakers and the good teams in the NBA. Everybody wanted to go to that team because they would have a chance to win. Or LeBron would be able to take his guys to Miami. That stuff. The Eagles are a good organization, and the players who are close to never winning. When you don't win a ring, you want to go and win a ring. That's why the guys who win rings, then they go somewhere else and take the money. And that's why the Eagles lose these guys, but they replace them. That's the good part.
Okay, we have somebody on the line. That
Who's on the
apparently
line? Is it Joey Merlino or is it the cheesesteak guy who made the chicken cheesesteak yesterday? What's that other Stu Nods guy's name that works in that Joey Merlino joint on Broad
Little
Street?
Snuff, Little Snuff.
Little Snuff, is that his name?
Yeah, Joe. His name is Joe, but they call him Little Snuff. It's
Snuff.
it's all South Philly stuff.
Hey, yo, what's wrong with South? You got a problem with South Philly, Howard?
No, I love South Philly.
I go up there to Northeast High.
I love South.
And take guys like you down. You know what I mean? When I would go up to the Northeast, I would come up there and take you suckers down. All you guys.
Now we're ripping the Northeast. All right, let's have Alan join the program. All right, you're a beauty. All right, Alan, you're on.
Yes, sir.
What's that, Alan? Are you there, Alan?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, Alan is not visual, but he's audio.
Oh, no, I'm watching Miss Rachel with my 2-year-old daughter.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. I'd be careful with Miss Rachel. She seems
okay.
Do
you have a question?
She's dangerous. Don't let your kids watch Miss Rachel. Do not allow your children to watch Miss Rachel. She's a communist.
You hear that, Erica?
Do you have a question or comment? For
I want to say two things. Your show with Josh Innes was great on 94.1.
I loved Howard with Josh Innes. I thought he did a great job. He beat Mike. Oh no, that was me and Josh.
That
Innes.
was you. You with Josh
beat
Innes.
Mike Missinelli in record time. Howard, you remember that? Record time. We took him down in 6 months, and then I just walked away. You know what?
Mike who?
Missinelli talked the game.
Mike who?
He talked a good game. Josh and I went in there and we beat his ass in 6 months, and I said, "That's it, I'm done."
Yeah, that was a great show. But one question: how does Daryl Morey have a job?
Why does he have a job?
No,
because he's the greatest con man in the United States of America. He's making $15 million a year. Got an extension with a team that's losing. He got a 3-year extension a year ago. I mean, it's a joke. It is a total. It's an outrage. It's as Tony would say. I don't want to steal Tony's phrase there. But how does he have a job?
I got it copyrighted, by the way, Howard. Every time you use it, you have to send me $15.
Yeah, but he didn't even pick. He didn't even draft Tyrese Maxey. That was Elton Brand.
That was Elton Brand. That is correct. So to answer your question, he's the all-time con man in professional sports. Con man.
Even more than Norman Brayman when it came to con man owners.
Yeah, but Norman Brayman bought the team when they needed a new owner because Leonard Tost had his financial issues.
Well, of course, and he was lucky. But you're right. Here's the thing about Morey, and we said it a little bit earlier.
And Alan, thanks for the call, Alan.
Wait.
Yeah, because the owner is now more interested in the Washington Commanders and the $4 billion stadium back in D.C. at the old RFK site. Right. He just gave Morey, he said, "Here, you handle this. You handle this. I'll pay you a little extra just to keep trying to con people into believing that this team is getting closer to winning a championship. They're not even getting closer to make the second round of the playoffs."
I know,
in the
it's
NBA,
disgraceful.
In the Eastern Conference.
Disgraceful.
So that's the problem. That's what it is.
They haven't made the Eastern Conference Finals since the 2001, 2002.
Yeah, team. Allen Iverson. I was in LA there for that first game.
They got to the championship. Forget about it. The conference finals. All right, let's go to Joe. Joe, do you have a question or comment for myself or Tony?
I'm sorry, I don't have any more answers today. I'm out of answers. Speaking of Allen Iverson.
Is Joe there?
I don't hear him.
Mike. There's a video of Mike. All right.
What's he doing in the video? There he is.
There he is.
Hey, I didn't know it was on video,
Mike.
but
that's all right.
It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Hey, by the way, nice curtains, Mike. Nice curtains. Now, do you have plastic slip covers on your sofa?
Wait, that's a pillow.
Oh, okay. You gotta have.
I'm old like you guys. I need support on my chair. My old guy glasses. Anyway, pleasure to talk to you guys. I didn't know I was going to be on video. What a spruce.
That's all right. You can be on video or just audio, whatever it is. It's all good.
You have an OnlyFans. Do you have an OnlyFans page that people can see more of you?
Yeah. I can go down to my basement and show you my man cave.
Oh, that's all right. We'll pass on that.
Walk. But anyway,
no.
Let me ask you about Andrew Painter. What are the plans for Andrew Painter? Is it possible to bring him out of the bullpen?
Okay, so all right, Mike, I'm going to answer that question for you right now.
Okay.
They want to be careful this year. They will bring him up later in the year, and he will come out of the bullpen. He will not be a starter this year. He will come out of the bullpen.
Didn't they just take him up from the Threshers down here in Clearwater and bring him up to Double A or Triple A? Or I think he's in Double A now, right?
Well, Double A and Triple A are both. He's in Triple A now. He's at Lehigh Valley.
Lehigh
Valley. Yeah, and he's pitching great. But from what I've been told, Triple A and Double A baseball is horrible. It's terrible. So, what do you learn? You learn by watching his pitches. But they're not going to go crazy with him this year. That's why he'll come up later and he will pitch out of the bullpen. So, do we have anybody else on the line that wants to speak to either one of us? If we do, Joe, let me know. But Tony, okay. But so we've covered the Phillies, we've covered the Flyers, and I agree the Flyers are going to win a championship before the 76ers, without question. Now, they're not going to do it anytime soon, but they're headed in the right direction. Sixers are terrible. Phillies, they're not a World Series team, Tony. They're just not a World Series team. And the other thing we do, and I will have you help me do this, Tony. Mother's Day.
That's why I'm here, Howard. You think I got up early just to sit here and just waste time? This is about productiveness. We're trying to make the country smarter. We're trying to make Philly fans smarter, better, and excellent human beings. It's all about teaching the children, because I believe the children are our future. You teach them well and let them lead the way, Howard. You can quote me on that.
Yeah, I tell you what, next show, well, maybe we'll get Mike to give us a tour of his basement and his man cave. Mike was going to walk down and show us his man cave. That's what you got here. Wednesday night, the schedule comes out. Wednesday, when my next show is live, I am going to basically, we're going to do the whole show about the schedule because, people, they don't even have their team set up yet, but people say, well, the Eagles are going to be 12 and 17 games now, 12 and 5.
Well, you know who started that, Howard? We got to give him credit. Mike and the Mad Dog started that with the give him a win dog, give him a loss dog, right? They would get the schedule of the New York teams, and then they would run down game by games on the Fan back in the day. And then they would say, give him a win law dog, give him a loss dog. So we used to mock that on Philly radio. We would do the give him a win, give him a loss dog. But you're right. The only thing the schedule is important for is having fans figure out which cities they want to book their hotels and airplane flights for, right? That's what Eagle fans wait for. And I'm going to go to Green Bay. Am I going to go to Tampa Bay? That's the schedule. Nobody else cares about the schedule.
I'm telling you, they got wins and losses just stacked up. It just. So we're going to have we're going to ask people to comment on the schedule. That'll be Wednesday night. By the way, Tony, somebody here, if I find who it was, I'm going to say Tom. I'll just say Tom Russo says plastic covers are on a sofa is an old Italian tradition.
Of course it is, because when you were a young punk like I was in South Philly, we didn't even have air conditioning in South Philly. So and when you came in all sweaty and stuff, from playing half ball and doing all the stuff we did as kids when we went outside and didn't have games to play inside. But the bottom line is you had to have you put the plastic slip covers on to protect the sofa. But then when you came in all sweaty and you sat down, you got stuck to those things. And I would issue plastic slip cover alerts. You know how we have a winter storm warning and a tornado watch? I would give the plastic slip cover report. This is when weather was important to people. Now they just have it on their app. Nobody goes to TV or radio for sports scores anymore because you have it on your phone. Howard, we were talking about.
You have weather on your phone. Why do I need to watch the weather on? An hour and a half of weather on local news when I get it on my phone and it's updated every couple of minutes. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. That's why. Remember when you were doing sports on TV, you would get 15 minutes. Now they don't even give you 15 seconds. They bury the sports people so they don't have to pay somebody to give you the scores because nobody waits till 11 o'clock to watch the local news to see what the sports guys are going to say.
By the way, the weather people in Philadelphia had another brutal week. All this rain we were supposed to have, it's just Yeah, it's a joke. I mean, it's like just throwing darts. I mean, I did the weather for a week. It's not rocket science, but the reality is, so we
You have
got
a meteorological. Do you have a degree like John Bolaris, Howard? Do you know as
no,
much weather as the great John
no.
Bolaris?
But I'm going to tell you what. When I was a kid, I had a weather station out my bedroom window. I did. I had a barometer. I had, how many inches of rain because I had a cup there. I had it all. I had it all set up on a wooden platform. I had a weather station outside. I did a weather during a blizzard, Channel 3. I mean,
Did you used to go in with our colleague Jim O'Brien and put the weather meanies up when they used to actually draw
Jim did
on
it
the
himself.
board? Remember?
Jim,
No, I know he did. But that was great. That's when weather was fun. Remember, Jim O'Brien would go out there and make the little clouds and the rain in the background. The weather bad guys and the weather good guys. That's the good old days, Howard.
I know. All right, Tony. It's been
By
your
the way,
pleasure.
I need to pimp something though. I'm building my house, and I don't have a GoFundMe, and I don't.
Okay, yeah, go
money.
ahead. Yeah, what do you want to promote? What do you want to
like?
promote?
You like this? No, I'm thinking of an idea to have the fans involved because it's not just about me or just about you.
Okay.
We're the givers. We're about giving and spreading.
I get it.
So people are saying, Tony, I know you're building your house. What are you doing now? How are you? I had to take out a home equity loan, not equity. I don't have equity because I don't have a house yet. But when my house is done, I'll have equity. But people are saying, how can I help you finish your house? I know you're very close. And I was thinking of what sports teams do, Howard. I can't get Xfinity Mobile to sponsor my house. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, one of the things they used to do, they did it at the Phillies games. They did it in South Philly on these Walk of Fames.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have pavers in my driveway, right? So they're going to be pavers. They're little blocks. And if you want to put your name and have your name on my driveway in each paver, for a $100 donation, you will have your name enshrined on my driveway in Cape Coral, Florida for eternity. And then I will seal them so that you can't come and steal the pavers, just like you steal the copper wire in South Philly when you're looking for stuff. You know what I mean?
So what are you going to do? How are you going to?
If you want to buy a paver, it's a donation, but your name, you're not giving money just to give money.
Well, where's the donation going to?
It's going to my I'll have an account. I'll set up an account.
If you can say it's a donation, we got to make sure it's a donation.
It's a donation. It's a tax-deductible donation.
Okay.
Remember, no tax on tips and no tax on pavers. And here in Florida, no state income tax. Also, Howard, no state income tax down here.
I get it.
Who wouldn't want to buy a paver with their name on? Remember when they used to have them down at the vet? And have them at all these other places. They put you get your name engraved.
I still see them in places. I forget where it is. But it's in Philadelphia, a couple of places. All right. So that's one thing. All right. Tell them you do a show on Friday nights.
Except last night. I didn't do a show last night because I was tired, but I said to make up for it, I'll get up early with Howard because we couldn't. We've been Robin and I are at the lot every day. We're going to go as soon as this is over. We're going back up to the lot in 90-degree weather to try to get this damn house finished before hurricane season comes. So that's where you
then the hurricane will come in and it'll blow it down.
No, this house is hurricane proof, Howard. Not the Florida hurricane, not the Miami hurricanes.
Okay.
And not all the other hurricanes or the Carolina hurricanes.
Okay. All right. So your show on Friday nights, and how do people tune you in?
Just go to Tony Bruno Show. Just go follow me on Twitter because just like you do, we post when we're going to do the shows.
Okay.
Everybody who follows us, it's on Twitter. It's everywhere. It's on Spotify. But we do it live on Friday nights. We didn't do it last night, but we'll try to. We're gearing up for the fall, Howard. I mean, that's the bottom line. We're going into summer. Kids will be out of school soon, so we'll do shows. Try to do shows every Friday night. But I like popping on shows like yours so we can just keep in touch with the fans. And no tariffs on pavers either, Howard. Go to my website, TonyBrunoShow.com. Get yourself a Crumb Bum shirt.
Okay.
Crumb Bum shirts, Howard. It's all about merchandising. Merchandising.
Okay. Well, King PhD is who I am. All right. So now I'll say the brains behind that show is Miss Robin because, see, I got hair up here. Your brain has been fried because you don't have the hair up there to protect it.
Exactly.
So Miss Robin is the brains behind that show. Because without her, where would you be? Where would you be?
I'd be on Skid Row, Howard. That's what I'd be. No, I'd be down on the beach
I can't
I'd be
believe you're
down in
not there
Key
yet.
West with a couple of kumads on my arms, on one beach chair, one on the other one, just like Joey Merlino and all the other Italian South Philly guys. You got to have that kumad. The kumad is the side piece, Howard. And Robin would be okay if I had a side piece, a kumad that she approved on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I hear you. So somebody said with the pavers, no stone unturned with those pavers.
Exactly. By the way, people are asking, how can you get a crumb bum shirt? Go to my website, TonyBrunoShow.com, and the merchandising, and get yourself. Everybody loves these shirts, Howard. Crumb bums.
Yeah,
crumb creep, and you're a crumb creep, Howard. Too. You're not just a crumb bum, Howard. You're a crumb.
But that's a Frank
Howard.
Rizzo term, and there's a lot of people that don't know who Frank Rizzo is.
That's my homage to Frank Rizzo. Crumb bum, outrage. Frank Rizzo is the first guy that said it's an outrage. That's what I took. I took it's an outrage from Frank Rizzo.
Oh,
one
really?
of my idols.
Okay, well, this whole show so far has been an outrage.
By the way, people are asking about the Oakleys. What's the question for the Oakleys? RG asks.
Okay, well, I don't want you to say it. So when you go off, because you would spout it, you
think I'm going to remember? You think I remember what I said in the last hour on the show?
Well, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think you remember what you said in the last minute, let alone the last hour.
That's true.
So, you know what? I got a few questions here, so I got to decide which one I'm going to take. I'll tell you what. Do you have, without giving the answer, something you said? Do you have a question? I'll tell you if it's one of them that I think I've got here. What did you say that I could create a question for?
I don't remember what I said, Howard.
Okay.
This show's totally unscripted. You think I have a teleprompter and I'm reading from notes? Normally I do. When I prepare for my own show, I got all the notes. We're winging it here, Howard. This is just organic. This is non-GMO, absolutely locally sourced knowledge that we're spouting here. You normally would have to pay $5, $10, $20 to get this kind of knowledge on a Saturday morning, Howard.
All right. So I'm going to come up with one of two questions. Something you said, it's going to be one of two, and I'm going to give it to people in about, I can't figure out what Jack in the back has joined. Jack, you're a little late to the party. All right, Jack, let's make this quick. You want to bring Jack in, Joe? All right. Jack, what's happening, Jack?
Jack is a member of law enforcement. Jack is a member of law enforcement in Bristol, PA. He's out there protecting you.
Oh, there we go.
Police.
Hey,
if I get in trouble in Bristol, I'll look you up, Jack. But I don't.
Anytime you got state passes through Bristol Borough. Anytime you wish, Howard.
Okay.
So, I just want to say officially, I'm sending you guys $100. I want to be the first paver in the driveway.
There you go. Let's start it. Let's get the paver action going right now.
Paver? I didn't even.
I didn't even kiss her. Paver? You need the Eskin bobblehead. Howard, people are saying you should come up with dope and moron shirts. All of your favorite saying. People love that stuff. Howard.
I do have a dope shirt. Years ago, I put it out there. I have a dope shirt. I had a character of a dope.
I just want to say one thing to you, Howard. You've actually inspired me. I'm actually going to start doing a regular walking routine. What do you recommend for like your first couple of weeks? 5 miles, 3 miles? What do you know?
Yeah, well, do it. Don't hurt yourself. Do a few miles, then build it up as you go. I mean, I was doing during the pandemic 15 to 18 miles. I don't recommend that, but now I'm doing 8 to 10 miles a day. But don't do it all at once. Do it in stages. And I always walk after dinner. And when I walk, it's in the dark. I carry a flashlight and my phone. I watch TV on my phone.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So, but
you wear the fur coat so that you can sweat more and lose some more of that body fat, Howard.
Get out of here. All right. Hey, Jack, thanks.
Thanks, gentlemen. Have a good day.
Hey, Jack, can you send me an FOP card?
Yeah, man.
All right. Here.
I'll get a hold of Robin.
Go to my website, howardeskin.com. Go into the contact page, and
no,
just
you go
give your
through
information.
me, Howard.
Yeah,
go through me.
You can. I'll tell you what. You can. you can
There it
do it
is.
for both of us.
There's my FOP card from the great Jack in the back.
Yes, sir.
There it is.
Oh, geez, I got to get one, but I got one from Philadelphia, but I need one from Bristol too.
You got it, buddy.
But anyway, all right. Thanks,
So,
Jack.
everybody-
Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, take care.
All right, thanks. And Tony, thank you. So we already got one person that's going to be a brick.
A paver, not a brick. The JT the brick is good, and
well, that's all right. We got a paver. It's all
just
good.
another brick in the in the wall, Howard. We're not building a wall.
All right. Well, no, we're not building a wall. Okay. All right. Here's I got to get some other things done here. All right. But I'm going to give the question. Tony, you can tune in and find out what the question is. And you can, I'll tell you what, you can submit your entry if you want, since you don't remember what you said. You can submit
Am
your
I
entry.
eligible to win? I don't need, I have, listen, Howard, just give it to the fans.
Okay. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it to the fans.
Just give it to the fans. I don't need another pair of sunglasses.
Hey,
I mean, listen, Oakleys are great, but what's the link for the brick? Well, I'll post it on my Twitter. Here's the thing. Follow me on Twitter at Tony Bruno Show, and we'll post any of the questions you may have there that you didn't get to during the show about the bricks and all the pavers and all the other things. We are, Robin's really active on there. Pink Floyd will be appearing at the house. We'll have a big party when the house is done. You have to come down, Howard, and do a South Philly Northeast big party down here at Bruno. At the Paradiso Bruno in Cape Coral. It's going to be awesome, baby. It's going to be awesome, baby.
It's on, Tony. Hey, thanks, Tony. Hey, hey, good luck with the house, and we'll talk to you soon. And good luck to you and Miss Robin with the house. All right.
Thank you, Howard. Howard Eskin, everybody.
Yeah, Tony Bruno, everybody. That crumb bum. He's a crumb bum. So, all right, let me take care of some things. I'm going to give you the question, but some things. It's not some things. It's important people. It's our presenting sponsor. The Howard Eskin Show is presented by Stillwell Financial Advisors. Jeff Stillwell, you have wealth. You want to invest. Jeff Stillwell is the guy. Stillwell Financial Advisors. You got the QR code there if you want to click in there and do it that way. But knows his stuff, will really help you out. I'm telling you, in getting to know him, he knows what he's doing. He's excellent, not very good. He's excellent at what he does in investments and your money. And you'll be impressed when you get to know him. Here's his number, 732-343-0813. All right. Now we want to talk about, I got to, thank our other partners in the Howard Eskin Show, and that would be cut the cord with Jason. You don't want cable anymore because it's too much money. You're spending too much. Cut the cord with Jason. We'll take care of you. He offers an incredible service that will save you money. He'll come out to your house, cut the cable off, set you up with less expensive internet service, and with the streaming service that'll include local and national channels. You'll get all the local Philly sports pro games. And if you have a second home, that's all part of the package. Second home comes with it. It's one monthly bill. Jason can save you money. Cut the cord with Jason. Give him a call, 215-801-5858, 215-801-5858. Now, we want to talk about getting you a car. Whether it's new or pre-owned, doesn't matter. Audi Westchester can take care of you. And it's fun to go into their facilities. You can have a cup of coffee. You can snack a little bit. You can talk to the nice people there, very nice people. And if you're buying or leasing, new or pre-owned, no pressure. Sales environment is no pressure. And because they're part of the Mainline Automotive Group, you'll have access to the largest selection of new and pre-owned Audi vehicles in the tri-state area. Stop by Audi Westchester. Here's the location, 1421 Wilmington Pike, or check them out, AudiWestchester.com. And they got a lot of new cars coming in now. The new cars, the new models, they always have new cars. New models are coming in daily to Audi Westchester, 1421 Wilmington Pike, or check them out, AudiWestchester.com. That's AudiWestchester.com. And you want a new pool. You want to get everything. You want to, and all the people that are partners in this fine program can help you out. Piazza Property Pros. Remember that name, Piazza Property Pros. They'll bring experts directly to your house if you're dreaming of a new in-ground pool. And actually, I think from what I was told, I stopped by there this week. They're building 3 pools this week. Pool renovation, new pool, whatever it is, Piazza Property Pros. Over 25 years of experience, and they don't subcontract. Their people are their people, whether it's pools, it's landscaping, it's excavation, fencing, pool maintenance, whatever you need, you can trust Piazza Property Pros to deliver exceptional results on time and within your budget. Here's the number, 610-566-2608 to schedule a free consultation, 610-566-2608. Check them out on the internet, piazzaoutdoor.com. All right. There's a couple of things I want to touch on, and I will touch on them. You know what? Let me give you the question. And there was a few questions we had, but I'm going to get the question. And here it is. The question that you can win a pair of Oakley sunglasses. Now, to do that, you get the correct answer. You've listened to the conversation with Tony Bruno. And if you missed it, you can go back and listen to it again. That's what's great about podcasts, which is not great about, there's a lot of things. Podcasts are the new media. Radio is not the new media anymore. Radio is the old media. Podcasts are the new media. So you can listen to this, go back and check. So I'm going to ask the question, email your answer on the contact page, your answer on the contact page at howardeskin.com. And the winner will be randomly chosen from all the correct entries. Entries must be received by this Tuesday at 12 a.m. The winner of the Oakley sunglasses will be announced on the Howard Eskin Show this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Tuesday at 12 a.m. I guess is that Tuesday night or Tuesday morning or whatever. Just get your entries in and you'll get it. All right, here's the question. And it's not a slam dunk easy one. And I'm going to, there'll probably be some thought behind this. Tony Bruno said that he claims he trademarked a phrase. He says he claims he trademarked a phrase. Now, I have a phrase trademarked. Stone Cold Mortal Lock is in the government building. They're actually located in Arlington, outside Washington. And I have an official trademark, which is trademark Stone Cold Mortal Lock. But Tony said he is having a trademark. And if you come up with that and you have the correct answer, you'll win a pair of Oakley sunglasses. So, and congratulations to our last winner from before, who answered Joey Merlino's the question that I posed with Joey Merlino, who, excluding Tom Brady and Joe Montana, best quarterback over the last 30 years. He said Dan Marino, and we have a winner. We had a winner for that. All right. What I want to touch on. My question is, why do local broadcasters have to kiss the ass of the teams? Why can't you are an analyst? The play-by-play guys, the play-by-play is, straightforward. And, on Phillies radio, those two guys are great. They're great. Scott Fransky and Larry Anderson, great. And Larry Anderson probably has immunity from giving his real opinion because the Phillies are not happy when the broadcasters are critical in some ways or many ways of a player or the team. And when I listen to a broadcast, I want honesty. And it's not just the Phillies. It's the Phillies. It's the Sixers. I think Jim Jackson's pretty straightforward. I think that broadcast is pretty straightforward, and they're honest and they're good. But the issue with the Phillies and the Sixers, why do you have to kiss their ass all the time? Be honest. That's what people want to hear. That's why you are an analyst. That's why you're this play-by-play in color. The color is giving the truth. And on the post-game shows, you don't have to say everything's okay. Yeah, I mean, everybody's trying to keep their jobs. And I understand the world we live in. Being honest, I'll tell you, if any of these people get fired because they were honest, there will be an absolute outrage, one of Tony's phrases, but it will be disgraceful. And I will make a point of that. Just be honest. I want to see the broadcast be honest. Now, the NBA, half the playoff games are blowouts. The NBA is terrible. Terrible. As Charles said, terrible. They're terrible. Half the games are blowouts. There's some good games. The ratings are down. It's such a horrible product. It's a terrible, terrible product. But it is what it is anymore. I see somebody here, David says, their bosses tell them to be nice. Well, yeah, but that's not what they're in there for. Another person said, journalism is dead. It shouldn't be dead. It shouldn't be dead. So I just want those color analysts to speak the truth, and they're put in there because they're supposed to be able to explain and tell people when there are problems. Good things, yes. Problems, yes, too. All right. So now I've gotten you to the NBA, and I want to leave you today with this. You got the question to try to win the sunglasses. I've given you the question to try to win the Oakley sunglasses. Shaq, the TNT show is the best, maybe the best show in broadcasting, with Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and of course Shaq. And Shaq has a segment, and Shaq couldn't help himself. James Harden, for whatever reason, in the playoffs, game sevens, he stinks. And this is who Daryl Morey wanted. He wanted James Harden. Boy, that did a lot of good. All the guys that Daryl Morey traded for are gone because they couldn't play here. It was bad trades. It's just terrible. But Shaq took off on James Harden on one of the broadcasts in the past week on his Game 7 lousy output in Game 7.
Number 4, James Harden. No, not James. Clippers fans showed up in full force, but forgot about one thing, Chuck. Game 7 Harden. Oh, no. Are you serious? No, I can't agree with you on this. James, this is not, I'm not participating in this, James. James, I'm not with it. I'm not participating, James. Me and Kenny got nothing to do with this. Not your fault, James. Oh, both of you guys are laying out. Yeah, no, James. Oh, wow. Come on, man. Stop it, man. No, I know, I'm not on this plane, James. Hey, I was not on.
It's a great show, James Harden. But, it's a joke. But the thing is, James Harden always has bad Game 7s. I've never seen anything like it. It's just talented guy. I'm sure he'll be in the Hall of Fame. But he can't, but just in a Game 7, just sit him. But Shaq, that was great. That was great by Shaq. That was absolutely sensational. That show is absolutely sensational. They'll be around next year, but it'll be on ESPN. So hopefully they don't force them to change it. All right. Thanks to everybody for joining the Howard Eskin Show. Thanks to Tony Bruno. Thanks to our presenting sponsor. Jeff's Stillwell Financial Advisors are important to this program, and so are our other partners, Piazza Property Pros, Audi Westchester, and Cut the Cord with Jason. They're all important. Thanks for your comments during the show. And Wednesday night, the schedule comes out in the NFL. And what I want to do on Wednesday, I might go on a little bit later, but I'll let you know on all the social media platforms. I'll let you know because the schedule comes out at 8. We normally start at 7:30, but there's leaks. So maybe we'll start at like 7:45-ish. But when the schedule comes out, I want you to call, and you join the stream. It could be a call. You can be on camera, off camera. And I want you to tell me, analyze it. And I want you to tell me wins and losses and what you think the Eagles record will be for next year. That'll be Wednesday night. But I want you to be, a major part of the program. All right. A major part of the program on Wednesday night. Thanks for joining us on the Howard Eskin Show on this We're live on Saturday mornings at 8 o'clock, live on Wednesday nights at 7:30. Might be a little later to get closer to the schedule. So we'll do that. Thanks, Tony. Says great show today. It's just, oh my God. But anyway, thanks to everybody for joining the Howard Eskin Show. And thanks to, without Miss Robin, Tony would never been able to set up the show. Hey, have a great weekend if you're watching this on Saturday, whenever you watch it. Have a great day.